I don't think the movie was as great as you guys are saying. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't feel like they really fleshed the characters out that much. I mean, people come in, they serve their purpose for the sake of action and very basic storytelling. I didn't feel too much for the characters though at all. I didn't even connect with them, but I didn't really need to, because really, this movie is the equivalent of a roller coaster ride. And I know we always say that, but really it is. I mean, you are watching incredible action scenes where you feel like you are flying. And for that, I mean, like I told you the other night, this is what entertainment's all about. It might not be the deepest, most character developed entertainment, but it does serve its purpose.
I just don't think that's a criticism, though. It's like, well, there are roller coasters and there's sitting in the park reading a book. There's nothing wrong with either one of them. They're both great, totally equally great for their own thing. This is one well-crafted, badass roller coaster.
Now, see, here's the thing: is you say you guys, but I haven't actually shared my opinion on with you on how I felt about this movie. Okay. I am actually somewhere between you two.
Okay.
I like the film. I like it a lot. But I see all the flaws you're talking about. And I saw it when I was watching it. The middle of this film feels just a little bit hollow. There's this period where you just you're like, oh, well, where's the movie going to go from here? And a film like this should never make you feel like that. You should know from point one right where you're going and follow it all the way to the end. And I also felt it got a little too gimmicky with the 3D. I wish I hadn't seen this in 3D. This was a film where I wanted to drink this in on a flat screen. I wanted to see it two-dimensionally, but it was because I felt that the 3D aspects were distracting me too much from what was really going on. And it was too much of the wow and not enough of, this is a beautiful film and a great story. And maybe that was distracting me enough from the fact that maybe the story wasn't as involving as I thought it was. And it distracted me at all the right points. But I still think it's a really good movie. I think I think you described it perfectly. It's a really fun roller coaster ride. It's a great interpretation of Beowulf and tells an interesting story. And that the third act is fantastic.
Oh, it's better than you could, because you're right. There's a slow second act and it slows down. I think it serves a purpose, two purposes. In fact, one, because there hasn't been a lot of exposition, hasn't been a lot of character development, and you finally get a chance to know who these people are during that. And two, after so much eye-popping 3D in the first half, I don't know if you've seen a 3D film, you sit there and after a while your eyes just kind of adjust to it. It's just not that impressive after a while. Well, the slowdown period lets your eyes adjust again so that when you see that just jaw-dropping, amazing, you want to sneak back in the theater and just see the end of it again ending. Wow. It just, everything, you're ducking and dodging, you got your controller there in your seat.
You know what it reminded me of, actually? It reminded me of the Yoda fight from episode 2.
Except if it was actually 20 minutes long.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, there's that. Well, we thought it was 20 minutes long, and everyone's like, "Oh, wow, that was a long fight." And then I knew so many people that snuck back into the theater just to watch that scene. They come out a minute and a half later, and they're like, "Wow, I remember that being a lot longer."
Yeah, right. We're like, "What? That was like a half a second fight." What the hell?
But it was that kind of level of, "Oh, wow, that's so freaking awesome."
Yeah, no, it really, I mean, they give you your money's worth is what I'm saying. If the character development was a problem for me, it was only because that middle was so slow. And I think that if I cared more about the characters, I would have been interested a little bit more.
Corey, I'm starting to get a tinkle in here, a twinkling in my toes. Are you annoyed that they didn't CG up Angelina Jolie's nipples?
Man, let me tell you something. This movie is one big cock tease, okay? I mean, because
I've gotten to the root of it. This is what it is.
Yeah.
It's no CG nipples.
They don't show any bush down there. They don't show any nipples.
They kind of show nipples.
Man, come on now.
You do see nipples. They're just like there's liquid flowing over them.
No, that don't count. I want to see like meatballs on there.
Just rent Gia, for God's sakes. It's a CG Angelina Jolie. I mean, when does your dick stop and your mind start?
It never does. And that's what I'm saying. In fact, it's CG. Angelina Jolie's breast should have been like bam, and her ass should have been like bam. It's like not. She's
now her ass should have been all kapow.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, not
bam and kapow.
Excuse me, I had my effects mixed up. Kapow.
I think it's funny that she's like living in this tiny little village in the middle of nowhere. A bunch of sort of old primitives and stuff, and her whole thing is she wants kids with guys from the village. This sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? Just madly adopting everywhere.
But I'm gonna go back to being naked. I'm just saying, you put it in CG, make that shit big. That's all I'm saying. She got her ass in the front of the screen. I want to see like a wide truckload. But
it looked good to me. I don't know what to tell you. I had a Woody watching her.
Okay, you're right. And it does give me hope, because if they can put that on computer, Angelina Jolie that looks like that, make that for my PC at home, and I don't have to have no more girlfriends. I don't have to leave the house. I'm marrying my laptop.
This does beg the question. Well, no, it doesn't beg the question. What this does is this does make you wonder, how many times did Robert Zemeckis take his work home with him? I think we're going to go and edit at home tonight. Going to work on that and tweak that Angelina Jolie scene again.
I know, and people like, Robert, you don't even know CG. Why are you taking this home? I'm the director. Shut up. I
know what we really need for this movie? We need Scarlett Johansson, but there are no other roles. Shut up! I'm directing this movie.
Yeah. What you call it? Grendel was really impressive.
Oh, wow. So creative.
Oh man, I don't know how much we can show of Grendel. I don't know if they gave me any clips, but Grendel looks incredible. He kind of looks like Gollum as a burn victim.
Yeah, sort of. Like, is it like you couldn't kill him? He's got open organs showing and stuff. He's just crazy looking.
It was the most disgusting but beautiful CG.
The one thing I think that will be indisputable on this, whether you get caught up in the emotion of it or not, the creature design. Every single creature in this film is freaking awesome. From the ones that appear in Beowulf's tail, to the dragon at the end, to Grendel, to the shadowy way we see Angelina Jolie, and every creature design is just gorgeous and original. They're so freaking original.
There's so much to look at here in general. So much you want to go back and look at again. It's just really detail-oriented animation. The other thing about this I thought was amusing is, yes, it's PG-13, but if this was live action, this shit would have been R, right? There's Angelina Jolie walking around topless. There's people getting ripped in half and eaten, and arms being torn off, and heads being torn off. And I mean, it is violent as all get out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I finally understood what the heavy metal heads meant when they say people go all metal. Right? Grendel came in and just went buck wild and was tearing people. You're right. This is a very hard PG-13, and I was surprised that it did kind of get away with PG-13.
Well, this goes back to the problem. There are a few directors in Hollywood, big powerhouses, people like Zemeckis, who did this, people like Spielberg, people like Cameron, who make rated R movies and petition to get PG-13 and get them.
And they get away with it.
And they get away with it. Like, you had Peter Jackson tried what he pulled off in Return of the King in Fellowship of the Ring. Fellowship of the Ring would have been rated R. But since so many families had seen the films, by the time he got around to sending Return of the King through the ratings board, it was okay to lob severed heads over the wall. These guys get away. James Cameron got, practically full frontal nudity in a PG-13 film with Titanic. These guys pull this off, and that's what happened here. This really probably should have it should have been like a soft R, but a rated R film, and really it snuck in under PG-13, which is going to be great with the kids, because the kids and the teenagers will get to see a rated R movie with a PG-13 rating. It's just why Jurassic Park was so popular.
I'm glad it worked out this way, because if it had been from somebody else and they hadn't had that leeway, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as good a movie. The blood and the action and the gore and the titties, all part of the package of why this is a great movie.
Yeah, no, and that's why I give this movie full price, regardless of the complaints that I have.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot of complaints about this, but yeah, absolutely full price.
No, it is worth every penny that you pay for it. It is a full price movie. I mean, we talked about some of the complaints, but they're so minor. I mean, they're so minor here. It really is a full price movie.
Yeah, no, you'll have a great time watching this at least. So yeah, definitely.